some of us have thought, and that is expanding the East Side Terminal, continuing to expand Harrelson Boulevard to Kings Highway to provide the ingress and egress to serve that expanded terminal. We believe that's going to serve the next 20 to 30 years. The real question is, as we continue to grow, which we are at a phenomenal rate beyond what we've had the last 20 or 30 years. I mean, believe it or not, most of those baby boomers in the North and Northeast and Midwest, they're just learning of Horry County and Myrtle Beach. And this is some of the last developable property along the East Coast. And the demographers tell you everybody's moving to the Southeast where it's warmer climate and they want to get next to the water, the Atlantic Ocean. So the real question is 25 to 50 years out, where is that service going to be? And I think the city planners and fathers have felt like at this location we want to continue to have a thriving air service, but it's probably not going to be able to serve those needs in 25 to 50 years, that there may be that alternative location. And of course, NESA, the Northeastern Strategic Alliance, is studying a regional airport that will serve the whole region. And I think that that's going to be where we need to look at the long term. We're going to work through the challenges and find a short-term solution, and I'm thankful that the county council and the city will get together and do that. In fact, we are. So I see a short-term need and then a long-term need, and we've got to get on the same page, and that will happen. If you will, let me turn to downtown redevelopment. That section between Joe White Avenue and 7th Avenue, which was centered and anchored by the pavilion, which no longer exists, is the last strip of oceanfront land in the city of Myrtle Beach that could still remain a retail and commercial component and not just be developed with high-rise hotels. And I think that's what many of us want. There's a unique feature there that in itself was but can become a destination, much like Market Commons, much like the new theme park, much like Broadway at the beach. So it's a matter of getting together and building the proper infrastructure, whether that be changing some of the road network, continuing with the aesthetic improvements, underground wiring. But many of the property owners and retailers in that area believe that a boardwalk will be that iconic symbol that investment is being made, and this becomes, again, a unique destination in itself where people can enjoy whatever will eventually be developed at the pavilion and the other activity there, and then stay in the general area and walk. So it's really a question of, do we want it to remain or stay a revived retail, entertainment, commercial core in that area? And I think that's what our leaders and fathers want. So it's a matter of prioritizing that and then making the investment.
Right.
So
absolutely,
we will do that.
And again, if a viewer wants to learn more about that, if they need to get off to school now or get family off to school or get off to work, they can visit citymyrtlebeach.com.
They can visit, yes, citymyrtlebeach.com. The Downtown Redevelopment Corporation has its own website, which is linked to that. David Seebach is the executive director, 918-1065, I know his number directly, to learn about what are some of the investment plans that are being made there. And of course, we will work with Burroughs and Chapin, which owns 11 acres right in the center of that, to develop that. And I know we're running short a little bit of time.
Actually, we got a little more, about 7 minutes.
Let me share really a project that is close to my heart for a variety of reasons. I've worked individually and collectively on this project, and it's been a great collaborative partnership. But Doug Shaw Memorial Stadium actually was Memorial Stadium in 1968, where Archie Dargan and Hazel Hatchell and Don Cameron led an effort to build a new stadium that would serve our community, but predominantly be used as the football/soccer field for Myrtle Beach High School.
Right.
Incidentally, in 1967, when the school was located at Kmart Plaza at that time, which is around 16th Avenue and Oak, the stadium collapsed.
No.
And so there was a community effort to raise money, build it where it currently is, which is on city-owned land. And since then, the city has maintained the facility and predominantly provided it free of charge for school athletic purposes, with limited city use and limited public use.
Right.
The facility needs to be upgraded, and as we were approaching that plan, many came about. Well, do we just deed it to the school district because the city doesn't have a football or a soccer team?
Right.
And I thought that no, I think what we should do is let's work with the school district. It's the public's facility. If they need to upgrade it, they're going to spend more money then they need to upgrade it. And why don't we work together, find out what everybody would like to see, and collaborate on the improvements. And what we've come up with, I think, is a great intergovernmental agreement where we're going to collectively spend between $3.5 to $4 million between the city and the school district to upgrade the home side facilities, upgrade the visiting seating capacity, the lighting, other improvements that need to be made that are typically what we would call district standards that they want to provide for each of their schools. What the city wanted out of it is, well, we want to get greater use for our recreational activities. We'd like to get greater use maybe for some tourism initiatives. And what we'd like to do is invest some money. And instead of having a natural grass turf, we'll have what's called field turf, which is the newest and brightest turf that you have at Cal Ripken, where it feels and plays like natural turf. So you get, but you don't have to cut it, you don't have to water it, you can paint the stripes, you could play a football game, turn around and play a soccer game, turn around and play a lacrosse game, and then be ready tomorrow and play again, and so you don't have the damage. So we're going to invest the money to upgrade the facility. In addition to that, we're investing the money to upgrade the track standards. It'll be a new 8-lane rubberized track, which is the new state-of-the-art track. It'll have all of the components that it could host an NCAA event.
Is that right?
And so we think that that will be an opportunity not only to have a Class A facility for Myrtle Beach High School and its athletic competition, but an opportunity for, when it's not being used for that, our recreational activity. We think that our citizens will get greater use out of walking and jogging on the new track. And then we'll have an opportunity to host track events. We're already working with Coastal Carolina University. As you know, they have a great track program.
Absolutely.
They have an event every spring called the Shamrock Invitational. Most of those teams that come down are staying on the waterfront. So we can host the event here instead of being always out at Coastal. But somebody that was very close to me in my life was Doug Shaw, who was the head football coach at Myrtle Beach High School for 25 years. I had an opportunity. I did. I had an opportunity to play for him for 3 years. I was on 2 teams that won 2 state championships.
Oh, come on!
And I played basketball too. We had a great team. I played quarterback for those 3 years. So there's always that relationship between the quarterback and the coach. And trust me, it was like many. Sometimes it was good, and sometimes it was bad. But Doug and his family, Cecilia and his son Doug Jr. and Gina, his daughter, have meant a great deal to me and my family, and it was very much with a reward and a passion that we're able to continue to honor what he meant to this community by upgrading this facility. And I know that his family is proud of that. That our teams will have an opportunity to play in a first-class facility. And I need to thank Eddie Rodersberger from the Horry County School District, and John Peterson and Ron Andrews, our 2 assistant city managers, who primarily were the ones behind the scenes working out the agreements while the politicians over here were taking all the credit but doing much more arguing than they were work. So, but it's been a great collaborative effort.
2 other great names, Pepper Gettings. You spent a lot of time, I know you, Wayne, and a lot of other folks, a lot of volunteers to make sure that was upfitted properly. A separate subject, and of course, Buddy Rogers, another special name to you and your family for many, many reasons. We actually have a couple minutes to share with viewers the significance of those 2 men and what they've done in this community.
Well, Pepper, I did not know Pepper personally, but he played football, basketball, and baseball, and unfortunately his life was taken at an early age. But Pepper, from what I know of him and what I've read from him and heard from people, epitomized hard work, dedication, wasn't the most athletic, wasn't the smartest, but was the first one on the field and the last one to leave. And was a great character, a great person. And so after his death, the leaders at that time sought the opportunity to award him by naming that facility Pepper Gettings. And of course, I was on council when we went through the bond referendum to renovate and expand that facility, certainly as well as Canal Street, and we're now making some improvements out here at Market Common, at Crabtree. But Pepper epitomized what we want to teach and promote in our youth athletics. And then, of course, Buddy Rogers, who passed away. Buddy is my uncle, was my mom's older brother, and probably where I got my athletic enthusiasm from. And but Buddy coached about every sport that you can coach. Basketball at Myrtle Beach and Soxty before that, and before that at Coastal Academy, which was a private school here in the 70s and 80s in Myrtle Beach, and played at Myrtle Beach and played at Marshall and University. But more than coaching and teaching, Buddy was about teaching young men and women to become adults and become productive citizens in life. And he's missed. Excuse me for getting a little emotional, but it's missed by our family, and I know missed by a lot of people.
You've got some other special uncles and relatives to segue off. Of course, Bob, your uncle, who was with us a block away at Horry Georgetown Tech, where your grandfather had made such a dramatic impact, where your dad now continues to make a big impact on Horry Georgetown Tech. You've had some amazing relatives. As of course we read about either you or your dad or Bob, it goes back to the Gray family here since the 1700s.
Yeah.
Not 1800s, but 1700s.
Well, and that descends to the Todd family, which we're living over off in what we call the Hand community in Highway 90. And my great-great-grandmother and husband migrated over here in the 1800s, and whether they served their church, they served the community in elective office, or in volunteer through Horry Georgetown Technical College or through the Shriners or whatever, I think that's where I've learned my desire and willingness to give back to our community. This place has been phenomenal to my family that dates back a long way, and there's been many family members that have served and continue to serve this community.
I love it. Wayne, thanks so much
Greg,
for being
thank
with
you.
us this morning.
My pleasure.
Stay tuned to more Carolina People with the Honorable Wayne Gray coming up next. This guy's middle initial should be S. S is in service. We could have talked about his basketball scholarship to Presbyterian. Said he wants to talk about Doug Shaw Stadium and all the activities going on in the city. We could have talked about being a vice president of Tidelands Bank. What's he want to do? Talk about devastation in New Orleans. We obviously could have focused on his 4 family-owned and operated family restaurants, locally owned and operated Springhouse. Instead, he keeps coming back to focus on the issues of importance here in the city. CityOfMyrtleBeach.com. Presidential debates coming up right around the corner. Of course, we're focused on Christmas right now and all the celebration. He's dropping off his kids at school, rushing over here to be at the Red Cross, thinking about the Market Common. A lot going on in the city. Think about him. Think about all your elected officials and so many volunteers that we need in the month of January to support these tremendous presidential debates. Coming up soon.